Hey everyone, thanks for waiting in the chat for a couple minutes before we went live. I see everyone already saying hi. I'm super excited for this stream with you today. So thanks for joining me.
Like, yeah, what's up, everybody? Trippyogi here. Thanks for having me, Josie. Fan of the podcast, the art, everything. So yeah, super honored to be here.
Awesome, thank you. It's so exciting when I get to I've like seen someone's work for so long, and a lot of people who don't post their face online often, like I don't know what they look like. It's nice to like put a name or a face to a name. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, yeah. Especially right now too, because quarantine and no one. I mean, how many of us have even seen like that many other humans' faces in general? It's like
yeah,
we don't even
exactly.
get to see humans a lot. So
I like your
yeah,
sweater, by the way.
that's awesome. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Looks
Yeah, this
really
is
cool.
actually one of my favorites. It's like something I got maybe like 10 years ago and still wear it like almost every day. Yeah.
I like it. Also, are you at like a standing desk right now?
Yeah, yeah. So I
I
have a
need
sit
one of
stand,
those.
but I mean, I only stand. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I love
That
it.
you like it? That's good to know.
Yeah, yeah. It took a little while to get used to, but I mean, I spend so much time at the desk. It's just like it's a lot better for the back. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. All right, let's jump right in.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you some three opening questions, and then
Cool.
I am going to do a small little ad, which you guys know I keep them really short, and then we'll jump into the stream, and then I'll do some closing questions at the end. Sound good?
Sweet. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so first question. If you could be on a reality TV show, which one would you choose and why?
Oh my gosh. What was I think the real world,
The
just
real
because that
world.
was like so OG, like back then. I think there's maybe like one or something before that or something, but I think just like back then it was like more raw. Sure, I'm sure it was probably a lot scripted, but it was kind of like the first of its kind, back then. So
Totally.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right, good answer. If you were left on a deserted island with either your worst enemy or no one, which would you choose and why?
Probably my worst enemy, because if they're my enemy, then there's something there for me to conquer, as in like whether it be alongside that person or within myself. So I
All
think
right.
that'd be an opportunity.
All
Yeah.
right. That's a good answer. See, these always like weirdly, the questions are so weird and random, but they tell me something about you. So,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Okay, and what is your favorite piece of art that you own?
Oh, favorite piece of art. Oh man. There's a few from Sarah, or I think a couple from Sarah that I own, but there's one from Trent Kuhn, who is I think a little newer to the NFT space, and yeah, I love that one. It's called Cyborg, and totally encapsulates like this psychedelic inner vision, like one with self and nature kind of like vibe. So yeah, really into that one, I think.
Cool. Do you collect any physical art or do you mainly collect NFTs?
Um, I only have a couple of physical pieces, but mainly NFTs. Yeah.
Cool, sweet. Okay, I'm gonna do a really quick ad, and then we're
Cool.
gonna get right back into everything. I think this is my. All right, sweet. So you guys know I'm working with Metacast, which is an awesome group that connects content creators and people who are trying to advertise something. So this month we have Whale Street, which if many of you guys probably are familiar with B20, which is the token that was actually released for Beeple's 21 of ones that a collector ended up buying out. So they're the one who organized that huge NFT bundle and fractionalized it into those tokens. And then they do a ton of other things. They have liquidity pools and everything like that to make sure if you want to make big trades, you're not crashing the market. So they do a lot of stuff. Definitely check them out. Their site, and then also they have a cool blog where they just talk about all the different things they're working on. It's Lendroid that has created Whale Street, so follow them on Twitter. And then also in the YouTube box, I linked their Discord as well if you want to join their community and just check out what they're up to. Sweet. Okay, and let me know if you guys obviously have any questions about any of the ads that I ever do. Um, but that is it for now. Okay, sweet. So just getting right into everything. First off, I this is I always try to remember where I first encountered my guest's work or you yourself. And definitely, I thought the first time I encountered your work was in crypto voxels. And with all the crazy, like, colorful, cool stuff you're doing there, and then also the wearables. But then,
Yeah.
when a while ago, and then obviously I linked it in the tweet today too, then I realized I actually had encountered your work before that with the work that you had on. Do you say Giphy or Jiffy?
I say Giphy,
Okay, I
but
do too. Okay, I
yeah,
don't know.
potato, potato.
But
Yeah.
I sometimes I say it both ways, and I'm like, which one do I say? But I think whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like a cult, or both sides can just go at
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly. So I and then I realized I actually had seen one piece in particular of yours a long time before I saw your work in CryptoVoxels. So that was just kind of cool to
Oh,
see, like, wait, I know that, and like that was so weird how eventually you see all these people come into the space, and you've obviously been here for a while and been doing stuff in CryptoVoxels for a while. So it was really cool to just see your energy sort of all over the place.
yeah, yeah, it's been interesting. And I mean, it's been a while, right? It feels like I've been all over the place. Do you remember which GIF it was that you saw?
Yeah, it was the one, I don't know the name of it. Recently, you have the Bitcoin logo in the hands, but before it was
Mm-hmm.
like, what did it say, tax or something?
Tax. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How old is
Yep.
that one? Because I feel like that one I saw before I saw your work in Crypto Voxels.
Oh man, I think 2015 or
Okay.
16. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's pretty old. Yeah. And so I kind of like revisited it, that was before, I had really dived into or dove into crypto. I had been following along and stuff, but that one was actually a piece that was made for, I think, tax collection on Instagram. And it also fit the vibe, like collecting taxes and all that. And it was around
Yeah.
tax time or something. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, I just decided to, turn it into a Bitcoin piece, kind of just fit. Yeah.
It's so cool as the Bitcoin piece for sure. And I
Yeah, yeah,
love
it's
how
fun.
like I was like, wait, that's so weird when you see someone like I've met some people within NFT and crypto art, and then I realized some of their older work I had seen a long time ago on Instagram or whatever it was. It's so cool to
Oh,
just
yeah.
see everything like that and how everything is connected. But I guess to
Yeah.
start off, I would love for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you journeyed into be creating.
Yeah. So I've been somewhat of a creative my whole life. Like I grew up as a musician, classically trained violin, played guitar. I loved to draw and paint and stuff when I was little. And then, when I went to college, I actually went for engineering. And so things kind of shifted more towards, the scientific like design and, analytical side of things. But then I think around the time I was graduating, I didn't really want to have like a desk job or anything. So I actually decided to just go like full-time musician, was just making music, ended up moving with one of my music partners at the time to LA. And we were just pursuing that, producing music, playing gigs, DJing, all that stuff. And then what had happened is like we're making all this music, we started to need flyers and stuff. And so I had some previous experience with like Illustrator, Photoshop, all the Adobe stuff. So then I started making like flyers for our stuff. We needed logos, all these designs, album artwork, all this stuff. And so what had happened is I kind of made this transition to where I ended up making more visual art than I was making music. And things just kind of stuck with the visual art. I think I took a course from was Josh Davis, who had actually just entered the NFT space, I think within the last couple months, which is like super cool to see like one of your early mentors kind of like enter the space. And he did this course on generative art. And so, I had a little bit of a coding background. And so learning how to make art with code just like sucked me in. And I think from there, I was really interested in like character animation and like motion graphics and stuff. So I started to dive into like the 3D CGI stuff, got really into like the digital art, just like the worlds that you can create with it, right? You can create anything you want. And so yeah, I just was doing a lot of commission work, a lot of personal work. And it's funny because like, I'm from that traditional paradigm where it's like you just make art for free, you make it because you love it. And the commissions come in and it's kind of just a way to sustain yourself so you can make more art. So it's been like crazy just seeing like over the past couple years or over the past year or two, what's happening in the space. And now we're seeing people, just like go full-time artists, and seeing people, in the third world who are able to kind of like proliferate and thrive in this like global economy and participate. It's like it's just insane what's happening. So yeah, it's like once I found out about NFT technology and like digital real estate and the metaverse and all this stuff, it just kind of like opened the lid on, just like infinite possibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you? So I guess I have two questions. One, when you said you needed to make logos and flyers and stuff for your music, did you? Does the music that you were have this sort of same feeling as your artwork? Like, did your artwork inspire your music at all, or your music inspire your style of artwork at all?
So yeah, I've definitely gone through quite a bit of shifts since that time. Like, I would say I was a pretty different person, and there was like some experiences with like Burning Man and psychedelics and like a lot of like personal growth and just like diving inward, and got really into like meditation and yoga. This is all like pre-Trippyogi, and so it's like still discovering myself as like a musician and an artist and all this stuff. And I mean, still am today, but I feel like there was definitely like a shift, and I think Burning Man and like everything that happened alongside that was a big part of it, where I really discovered this like liberation, of myself, and an ability to dive into like and tap into like all this that's inside of me. And and I saw the world in just like such vivid colors and just like crazy, just fractals and images and just like the most beautiful things you could see. And from there it was just like I had to share these visions with the world. And so that's why like when you see my art, or when at least when I'm creating there is definitely a very playful or joyful, very colorful, like prismatic vibration to it. And so yeah, like toward during that shift that happened, the music that I was making kind of like headed in that direction. And so that music is kind of like a bit closer to like the visual art that I make now. And what's funny is it's coming full circle now, because like with the NFTs, like what's cool about that versus like physical art is you can easily include an audio component. And so now I'm, working on these like audio visual NFTs where they're both equally like important to the experience, So yeah, it's been interesting seeing how that has evolved.
That's really cool to just hear how you have these different creative aspects that you've had for so long, and like you said, how they've evolved over time and sort of are coming closer to each other. That's
Yeah.
pretty. It's just crazy because your life obviously has changed over these years too, and I'm sure your art your art is influenced by your lifestyle and everything like that. So it is such a personal journey in all aspects. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, go ahead.
I
Or
was gonna say, yeah, that's what's beautiful too about like, every artist's path and their journey is like their art is just a direct reflection of like them at the core and like everything they're going through and what they have to share. So
yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
And how did you? So when you were starting to create art and everything, how did you initially find crypto NFTs? Did you find Bitcoin first, Ethereum first? Like, what was that story?
So I read the Bitcoin white paper probably in like 2010 or 11. So I got exposure to it pretty early on. And it's funny because I was like telling all my friends about it, and I got into like the dark web and like all this stuff, and like learning more about everything about it, but I didn't actually buy any. And I even had like the node set up running on my computer with like the wallet, and I was ready to go, and my laptop got stolen. So like I didn't purchase it early on, but I knew about it. And so like over, maybe 4 or 5 years pass, and I'm like closely following. And I'm also like a huge believer in like the blockchain technology. I think that's just as significant, if not more, than like Bitcoin and crypto itself, right? Like blockchain enables this like global consensus mechanism that we can use for anything really. And so I was just like a big proponent of that, always kind of like kept tabs on it. And then there was, of course, like the 2017 bull run, and I was definitely into it there. And it was, I think, shortly or maybe like a year or so after, I started seeing Hexiosis posting about all his like super rare sales. And, he's like, oh, I sold this GIF, like 3 ETH or 2 ETH or whatever, so and so. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like I had sold art on digital platforms before, but they were centralized, right? And so it's a little up in the air as to like the validity of what that's worth. But then I started digging into like this NFT technology, and I saw he also posted like a gallery that he built in crypto voxels. And when I saw that gallery, I was like, that is something like that's different. Like I've seen people sell online digital stuff, but like having a real estate that houses it and all the ownership and is verifiable on the blockchain, like this is special. Like
Where
this
do
is
people sell online digital stuff? I didn't even know that.
there was like one organization called Sedition. I
Okay,
think I don't know where they're at right now, and I don't know if they've looked into integrating blockchain, but yeah, they're basically issuing like digital certificates of authenticity, but
got
it's
it.
not it's not like verifiable on the blockchain. Yeah, yeah. So shout out to Hex for definitely introducing me. It's been cool, kind of like just seeing, because he's one of the OG GIF artists too. So like seeing going back and like tracking like all the way to now and seeing like where everyone's at. It's crazy because now I'm seeing other artists, that I would collab with in the past and stuff. Like people like like Blake Catherine and Jason Ebonier, seeing them come out and do crypto art and NFT drops and stuff. It's like it's beautiful because like these people have been doing like so much art for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Like they deserve to be like full-time artists. Their art is beautiful. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That is so crazy to see those worlds collide. That's for sure. When you were in, or when you saw Hexios's CryptoVoxels gallery, what was your like? I need to build one of those too, and you just like figured it out and hopped on Discord and did it, or was it like a longer process than that?
I did a little bit of research, but when I saw it, I kind of made that connection. Like this is digital real estate, right? And it's like we have mail, but we have Gmail or email, right? We have
Mm-hmm.
like electronic analog to it. So I'm like, well, this is like the digital analog to real estate. And I know, it's like, I know what that entails and what that can be, right? It's like space to host something. It's like 3D websites, all the possibilities, gallery shows, events, all of these things. And so, I did a lot of research, hopped in the Discord, tried to figure out like how to actually buy some, realized that like these like crypto voxel drops are like getting snagged up in seconds. So there's a lot of like trial and error and research and kind of like digging in the community. But I think through all that, I also realized just how like dope the community was too, right? Like you have the Whip meetup and like all of that crew just doing like all these cool events in the metaverse, like the coolest events, and they're having like the biggest names in like the NFT and the DeFi space coming through like on a weekly or bi-weekly occasion, and it's like the super rare communities. I'm not as involved, but like I know Maker Place and Known Origin, their artists have like tight knit communities too. It's like everything's so interwoven. And it was really easy to find information as long as you like would dig and like ask the right questions to the right people. So yeah, I think there was one time I was like cruising around the metaverse and I saw in Discord, and it was, I think Coldy was like, yo, is anyone available to help with the build? And that was when I was like first procuring land, and I was like trying to figure out, how to start building, how to like do mega boxes, all this stuff. And I was like, yo, I'll help out, and so helped with that. Was it get it or get out while you stay in? It was
Yeah.
like the alternative, to the Bitcoin event. And yeah, it was just like it was amazing, getting to work on that and like build and be a part of like this metaverse experience.
And then you were later a part of Pranksyland, which I linked in the YouTube description box if you guys want to see that. Maybe, I don't, do you have it up on your screen too? Or do you not have that one
E-
up? It's fine if not. My,
Franksyland, I have it. Yeah, I have it up.
oh, cool. Do you want to share your screen
Yeah,
and show it for
sure.
folks watching, because that's such a cool build. And all your stuff is like, I feel like when I see your stuff, I know it's yours. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
very
yeah.
like it's very you, which is really cool. And you have like your specific style, and you bring literally so much color to the world in a world that used to actually not even have any color. Like literally,
Yeah.
Crypto
Yeah,
Voxels
you
used to
had to
only
pay
be in
for
black
color.
and
Yeah.
white.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to like just see like the huge splash of all the rainbow colors.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was, I mean, it was super fun to work on. Like, honor, of course, to like work on anything with Pranksy. Like, he's just doing big things, and it's funny because like he just keeps scaling it up. It's like it's insane. Who knows what'll be happening in like a year or two.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Amanita, of course, based off the Amanita muscaria. It's like a psychedelic mushroom, but people usually don't eat it for that reason, just because it can be a pretty uncomfortable experience. But yeah, the build was super fun. And actually, it's neighboring Coldie's build that I helped work on too. The proof of work, that was really fun
Yeah.
too. Had like the little animatronic miners and stuff. And what's cool is like, yeah, like Crypto Voxels has a certain look to it, and it's got that like Minecraft vibe, but it also has like, in addition to that, it has like the ability to do like animated gifs
Mhm.
and like urls and all this stuff. So it was fun. We like threw some parties in there. It was crazy just seeing everyone pile
That's
into
so
like this
cool.
like mushroom cap. Yeah, it was really fun working on that.
Also,
I
you always
think
have the
that
best outfits in Crypto Voxels.
yeah, yeah. Oh man. Yeah, the wearables. I'm excited for them to go to Matic for those. I
Yeah.
cannot wait to mint some more. Yeah, Pranksland was dope. I think like whoever sees it, like once the right person sees it, they're literally gonna like snatch all those up, and
Oh,
then
I'm sure.
everyone's gonna be like bummed that they didn't pick them up.
Yeah. I know Prinksy. I just had him on the behind the art show, and he was talking about Prinksland too, and he's like, I they need to like they're all gonna go at some point, but it's crazy to see that
Yeah.
it's been a little bit slower than he expected, but the market is
I
so
mean,
weird.
yeah, I think the concept was just ahead of its time, right? Like people are just
Totally.
starting to like you know believe that like right click save is like not a thing anymore. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'll be cool once people find the metaverse.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, while we're feel free and show more stuff that you had if you'd like. While we're talking about that, where does the name? Oh, whoops. Oh, I think because we
Uh-oh.
tried to log in with multiple
Uh,
accounts. Let me just. Where did the name Trippyogi come from?
yeah, names are like a funny thing, right? Like when you're coming up for a name with your project, either like it happens all at once, or you spend time just like banging your head against the wall. Like I've been through various branding projects and stuff, and it was hard to like come up with something for so long. My name was actually just like first initial last name. But then there was a point where it was like, okay, I gotta pick something that I like and that I can like live with.
Mm-hmm.
And I really loved like creating these like psychedelic colorful experiences. And at the time too, I was doing just like a ton of yoga,
Oh, cool.
and a lot of meditation, and I still do yoga and meditation, and it's like a big part of my process today. Um, but yeah, and so like it just kind of came to me, oh, trippy yoga, trippy yogi, trippy yogi, and so yeah, it just kind of stuck. And yeah, it's also kind of like I guess an ideal to me, right? Like my ideal day is, I'm making like trippy art, and I'm doing yoga, meditating, and just like enjoying life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And do you did you have that name? When did you create that name?
Let's see. That was probably, I think, about 2.5 years ago or so, two or
Okay,
3 years
nice.
ago.
So that's
Yeah.
that's cool that you've had that identity for some time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really quick. I'm just wondering. There's only the reason why the time is
Oh, is the
doing
only time
that
out.
is because it thinks that there's more than two people in our stream or in our Zoom,
Ah,
even though there's not. So I'm just
okay.
gonna try to. Um, Worst case scenario, I might have to restart the Zoom, but that's okay. Let's just keep going
Okay,
until I can try to figure it out.
sure.
But that's all right. So, when did you get started on Super Rare? Was Super Rare when you made your first sale? Was that like a pivotal moment for you when you realized you could, as you were talking about earlier, like selling digital art? Was that a pivotal moment when you sold your first piece there, or what was the biggest moment for you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely selling my first piece was awesome. Like that was just like, oh, wow. Like I had no idea that was gonna happen. I just kind of like tossed it up there. What's funny is I actually had been approached by Maker's Place, and so
Mm-hmm.
I minted a couple there, but I didn't because they kind of obfuscate the whole blockchain side of it. I didn't realize it was like blockchain based and NFT. There was like this NFT technology behind it and all of this stuff. So like I thought it was maybe kind of like sedition or something where it's like, just a digital certificate of authenticity or something. So yeah, I actually had some um, gifts up on Maker's Place, but then a bit later was when I joined Super Rare, and then saw all the traction that it got there, and it just got like really into the community there, and all the artists, like a lot of them are my friends now, which is crazy, like so cool just having friends that are artists that you can connect with, and kind of go through all of these things together with, as the space is like in the bear time, and when it's like going through bull time. So it's been really cool like seeing that as well. But yeah, that first piece that I posted on what is it, on Super Rare? That one was Epiphany, and it actually got picked up by Esquiat, who's amazing collector.
Oh yeah.
And this was probably one of my earlier pieces that was like this trippy psychedelic voyage, right? And so it kind of like takes you on this journey of self-realization, or those aha moments where it's like you just kind of like make a breakthrough, or you unlock the key to something that you just it might have been right in front of your face, but you were kind of like blinded by either society's filters or something you had thought was the way it was, but then it just completely like changes. Yeah, so
Such a
that was
cool
a really fun
piece.
one. Yeah.
That piece is so involved. Like there's so much going on there. How long do you think that piece took you to create?
This one's actually funny. Is a funny story behind this one. It took me maybe like 3 days.
Okay.
It was I went quick on it as far as like executing, but I did have probably a lot of digital assets that I had created and used for it like beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's funny because like it was a piece I had made. I think it was for like a Giphy, because I had worked with Giphy before, and they had this like it was like a short film contest or whatever.
Oh,
And so I
cool.
was like I was making this, but then I missed the deadline to submit it, but I was just like,
Oh,
well,
damn.
I made this and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, it all worked out for the better. Like this was my entrance into the crypto space. So like if I hadn't made it, I might not have even really gotten heavily involved in NFTs and stuff.
Yeah, totally. No, that makes sense. I have more questions for you, but I wonder if
Yeah.
since we have 4 minutes on this call, I just Googled it. I think because we had some technical difficulties at the beginning and we came in and out, it thinks that there's more than two participants. So I'm
Got it.
just gonna restart the Zoom, but we're not.
Sure.
We'll stay on YouTube while we do it. It'll be really quick.
Cool.
But while we're doing that, do you guys have questions that you want me to ask? I want to ask a little bit. You can think about it while we reset up the Zoom call. But I want to ask about your overall like thoughts of where NFTs are and crypto art, and then also just if you can talk to us about what you think about the metaverse and these virtual worlds and like
Oh yeah.
what that means for artists and creators, and I guess like what you would overall like to see happen in the virtual realm, if that makes sense. Um, I'm going to really quick just send you another Zoom invite,
Sure.
and that will just take a quick second so we don't. Um, it'll be really fast though. I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
I'm gonna set it up right here. I think we can keep. I think you can keep talking while I get this set up.
Okay. Yeah. So the NFT space, oh man, like right now is obviously a crazy time because just
Oh
like
yeah.
tons of artists are being onboarded. But I think this is definitely an inflection point for the metaverse. People have discovered digital ownership and the power in like blockchain technology, and they still have yet to discover like the power of blockchain worlds. And I think, there's a lot of people longing for connection, longing for events, and they can't really like go out and meet up with people on like larger scales and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the metaverse is going to be where that gets held. And even like post quarantine, I think it's going to be huge because like people are still longing for that connection on like a global, right? Like you can't just go party with someone in, like Dubai or Africa or something, right? Like you have to hop on a plane, go there, all this. But in like the metaverse, you can literally just log on and you can hop between worlds with friends and stuff. Um, so let's see. Oh, did you send that link?
I'm about to send it. Sorry, I'm just pulling
Cool,
this
cool.
up here. My Discord's being a little funny.
Yeah, so with like the whole metaverse thing, like one of my bigger projects that I've actually just started working on over the past few weeks is Next Dimension Studios, and we are looking to build and expand on this concept of like bringing people together in the metaverse, combining like visual artists and NFTs along with like musicians, and basically producing these like large scale events across multiple worlds and stuff. So yeah, it's interesting. It's just interesting like how much people are spending time online now. And we still have, maybe like 5 billion people or so to onboard to the internet.
Oh yeah.
And where are they all going to go, right? Like they're going to go online, they're going to go social media, but they're also going to go and trickle into the metaverse. um, should I hop on this new
Yeah,
one?
let's hop on the
Okay,
new one really quick, and then if, like
cool,
I said, if you guys have questions, feel free and pop them here, and we'll answer them right when we get back. But I do want to talk a little bit more about what you just said too. Okay,
cool.
you can hop in the new one, and I'll end this one for now. Hey guys, sorry about that. It'll be really quick. He'll be in just a sec. Also, oh, here we go. Okay, sorry about that weirdness, guys, but thank you for always understanding that there can always be something that goes wrong, but you just go with it. You just go with the flow.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
sweet. I see us. We're all good now. So when you're talking
Very
about,
relatable to the metaverse.
yeah, exactly. And also
Yeah.
with like Zoom, I feel like on my, I have multiple different Zoom accounts. So on one of them, I do have like the upgrade where you could have multiple people. But on my PC, which is where I do all my streaming, I don't have it
Uh,
on here. So I'm like,
okay.
gosh, I just need to get it together and just do it all around. But I only ever stream with one person, so
Got it.
it's a weird thing. But anyways,
Yeah.
so what I guess which virtual worlds are you most excited about and bullish on? Obviously, we've been talking a lot about cryptovoxels and your work is there, but have you ventured into the other worlds and what do you think about them?
Yeah, yeah. I actually have land in Decentraland, in Cryptovoxels, Insomnium, and in Sandbox.
Oh wow, you've got them in
Um,
all.
Yeah, so obviously, like I believe in all four projects, and it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because like this has been a big topic of discussion with my friend slash business partner, and when we were talking about Next Dimension Studios, like, well, where are we gonna build, right? And what's funny is like all encompassing. I don't think at this point it matters where you build. It's you just should be building, right? And so like the thing is they all have different niches and technologies, but there will be a point where they all converge. So right, like CryptoVoxels is amazing for its accessibility, right? Like anyone can build there, anyone can visit there. You can visit mobile. They have like VR in beta. Decentraland's amazing because it has like the most established community. It's also like the closest operating to a DAO, moving in that direction. VR on the roadmap. Somnium Space, amazing VR experience, really great community there as well. And they actually just implemented their like web beta, so you can now explore in the web. So it's become a bit more accessible. I would say, and I actually haven't explored too much in Sand or was it Sandbox?
Yep.
But I think that like people who are looking for a very much like Roblox type or like game, mini game experience, that one's definitely going to be super dope. And I mean, I'm really excited about like the convergence of all of them, right? Like the interoperability stuff that people like Jin are working on, where it's like you can literally walk through a portal in crypto voxels and end up in Somnium Space or Decentraland, stuff like that. Um, and yeah, what we've decided for right now is just because of like the level of advancement of I think Decentraland's SDK as far as like scripting and stuff goes. And we want to build a lot more interactivity. Like we're going to start building there, but we definitely are going to also be building, in parallel Somnium and Crypto Voxels.
Yeah, and I really love the idea. Like, I want them to have portals to each other where you can just like hop in the different kind of. Sugar Club has like an awesome spot in Decentraland, and they have an awesome spot in Crypto Voxels. Like, just
Yeah.
jumping back and forth is like so cool. When it intertwines all these different worlds, kind of having like a headquarters in each. And I totally agree with
Yeah.
you on just having all of these worlds sort of grow in parallel and joining in, and they do, in a weird way, they do have their own communities and their own benefit, like pros and cons to each world, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting to see. I would love to see, definitely, like, you have an epic full decked out outfit in crypto voxels. I would love to see that translate to every world you go into, and that be sticky
Yeah.
with your identity, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Like what is it? Is it crypto avatars or
Yeah.
what Talk Sam's working
Yeah.
on? Yeah, that's like super dope. And yeah, it's like I have my crypto voxels outfit, I have my custom like Somnium Space avatar. I've been keeping tabs on like Decentraland for when they're gonna open that up for wearables. So fingers crossed that happens soon. But yeah, like I would love to see more of that, more interoperability for like wearables. I know, like I think Ben or CryptoVoxels mentioned that they're going to be doing furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Vehicles would be like super sick.
Oh,
Like
agreed.
yeah, it's all coming. It's just a matter of time, right? Yeah.
Your like gas emissions would be like just rainbows going to the sky or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah, kind of like that like Nyan cat meme or whatever, but
Yeah.
with like a spaceship. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. A weird side question. Are you doing art full time, or are you doing something during the day in between working on your own stuff?
Yeah, so I was doing coding like about actually about a year ago. I was doing back end development for fintech, which is
Oh, cool.
interesting. And so like I was doing art, I would say like half the time, and then I was doing the code a lot of the time. And what I really wanted was like to take this like enterprise level, coding and like design, engineering, architecture, and be able to apply that to like art. And how can you, create art at scale or something like that. I didn't really know, what the end result would be, but like learning kind of like how that side of the world ran and being able to apply it to like my art and experiences. So I made the decision, I think it was last March, to just go full-time artist. And so I've just been doing that. I
Yeah.
had a couple clients, but that kind of like tapered off, I think like Q3 last. So yeah, now it's just art, crypto art, building in the metaverse. I mean, that has definitely become my passion, whether it's like working on my own projects or like helping others like build their projects. It's like just building digital dreams essentially.
That's so cool to hear, and congrats, because it's like it's not a hard or not an easy thing to do to transition fully like that. But it is
Yeah.
so rewarding when it is your true passion. So that's huge.
Yeah.
Congrats on that. Um,
Yeah. Thank you.
I would love to know a little bit more about um, your creation process. Like, what is your go to when you like? Are you dreaming up a piece first? Are you sketching stuff out? Are you going straight into the program and just like creating from there? Like, what's your process, and what do you use for tools and also inspiration?
Yeah, it really depends on the project and it's a lot of variety. So all across the board, there's been pieces that it came up, I woke up in the middle of the night and like I saw something from a dream. So I like hop in VR and sketch it out. Or, a lot of times it starts with like research, or learning. Like I've always had just like a huge passion for learning. So sometimes I'll learn a new tool, or sometimes like I'll read some like ancient texts, or, like do research on some theme, or even like if I'm really having trouble, like take take pulling something out, like meditating for me, like just shutting everything out, like venturing inward and kind of like seeing what comes to the surface. Lately my big go-to has been gravity sketch in VR. Like shout out to Meta Guys who put me on that. Like I've
Yeah.
been on it like ever since, and that's probably like one of the few VR experiences I actually use, but I use it like constantly. So yeah, it's ridiculous just like being in your art piece as you're creating it and like being able to move things around. And it's becoming especially handy too with like building in the metaverse, because you can literally just create your architecture, and if you're making some for crypto voxels, like export it as an OBJ, throw it in Magic of Voxels, and now you have like a megavox for your plot, so like the tools and the workflow have really evolved over the years for me. Like it originally started with like Java based processing, which is a Java based toolkit for making generative art. But then, Cinema 4D would be like my go-to tool, whether it's for like modeling or animation, rigging if it's character work. um, Houdini, I have done some projects with lately. Actually, the piece I'm currently working on, it's going to be this new one for Super Rare, and it's going to be a audio reactive NFT. But yeah, just some crazy like mesh manipulation. It's really hard to explain, but it's using like space folding. So like there's some maths involved where, it's kind of like turning an object like and folding it inside out upon itself.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited about that one. Lately, it's been more like game engine stuff. Like I was into Unity for a bit, but then I recently shifted to Unreal.
Okay.
Just I think like the look of it, I really love, and the ease of use as well. So yeah, like the audio reactive stuff I've been making in Unreal. So like what people are going to get dropped to them for the Pranksy NFT boxes, that was made. The way that one was made was the little alien head slash spaceship was carved in, or was sculpted in Gravity Sketch. Then I took it into Substance Painter to do all the texturing,
Cool.
and then I took it into Unreal to do all the like audio reactive stuff.
That's
Yeah,
so
so
cool. I love hearing that
multi-medium.
process because it is so different for everyone. And I love that
Yeah.
Metaguy's put you onto that because in our stream, he's like showed it live on stream, which is really
Oh,
cool
nice.
because he was like telling people, he was like, you guys got to try this. Is
That's the
like
truth. Yeah.
the way to go. And it's like easy to just pick up and like start with it versus some of the other programs he said. So I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. I know a little bit about what you're talking about, or I can imagine your process because we've seen his process on the show.
Hmm.
So that is so cool to hear about, just like each step. And I'm glad you brought up the NFT boxes because those um, so cool, so epic. We talked a little bit about it on
Yeah.
Pranksy's stream, but if you want to just tell everyone sort of the general concept that don't know about it, that would be awesome.
Yeah, NFT boxes is dope. Of course, like Pranksy just bringing things to another level, just 500 boxes, each one contains 11 art pieces, right? So what he did is he's working with different curative artists. So that this for the Genesis box, it was Coldy, and they worked together to curate the artists for the box, right? And so this one just had like a ton of names on it. Let me see if I have it up here. Oh yeah, I don't have the name list, but yeah, like of
I
course
saw it.
Coldie's
It was like
in
a
it. Yeah,
ton
Angie
of,
Taylor. Yeah, Quasimondo. Tons of them. And so what he did was he worked with Infinity Tokens, formerly Infinity, and they created like the custom contracts and everything. So when you purchase the box, like when the art's ready to get distributed, they lock the box and then they send you all the art pieces and then they unlock the box. So yeah, literally like 500 people, a lot of which are probably more into like NBA Top Shot and stuff than like
yeah,
NFTs, right? They're all going to get exposure to like this brand new space and these new artists and stuff. So yeah, it's amazing. Like I think he's got the second box in the works
yep,
already,
with joy.
and the boxes just got locked. So everyone who purchased one, thank you so much. And yeah, you guys are going to get some really cool art.
Yeah, and I have the list up here. Coldy, Quasimondo, Angie Taylor, Trippyogi, Mattia, uh, Robness, and Rutger Vander Tas. So that is
Nice.
a super epic box.
Yeah.
And like Trippyogi said, they have another one already in the work that Joy is helping curate. So these are
Oh,
just so,
nice.
I can't wait to see like everything in there and like what everyone's doing. And I think this is just like I'm pretty sure it's the first NFT like subscription type thing, even though you're not taking a monthly fee, but it's sort of like that. Um, that has happened, and I love how it's just like a bundle of all these sorts of things. And it was this weird like extension of these thoughts that Pranksy already had, like when he was doing Pranksyland, like bundling the art with the land and everything, and
Yeah.
doing it in just a different way. So that's cool that you're doing that as well.
Yeah. Super cool.
Um, did somebody say NBA Top Shot? Yes. um,
NBA Top Shot, get your packs.
yeah, exactly. Do you own NBA Top Shot packs?
Actually, yeah, I bought a bunch in like September, August or September. So I had, like 150 moments or something.
Wow.
I kind of like DJ. I think. Oh, you know what's funny? It was one of the podcasts I watched with you and Jim, and
Okay.
Jim mentioned it, and he's like, "Yeah, I got like a couple of account invites to the early beta. If anyone wants me, just
Yeah.
DM me." And so I hit him up, and
Oh,
then I
no
just
way.
like went into it hard. And yeah,
That's
I actually have
sick.
just been like selling a bunch over the past month, which is really cool. And it's
That's
amazing seeing
awesome.
that platform do really well, right? Like
Oh,
from
yeah.
crypto kitties to like NBA, it's just insane.
Oh yeah, crazy. Also the fact that like the rolling out all on Flow and like this their own blockchain, because like that, to be honest, they're probably one of the only people that could successfully have their own blockchain and people aren't in a total fuss about it, because people are
Yeah.
not going off of Ethereum. You know what I mean? As much as people whine about it and talk about it, it's just like there hasn't been traction yet. So it is
Yeah.
really interesting to see so far Flow being really successful. You know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's crazy because it's like it's just another gateway to mainstream adoption, right? Like they have a blue chip client that they're working with. The blockchain is not like it's not the thing that's slowing them down, it's actually like the volume. They just have
Mm-hmm.
so much volume, so they have to like keep up with the throughput, which is a great problem to have. So, yeah, it's going to be crazy to see what happens on Flow.
Yeah. Speaking of just other NFTs, what are a couple of your favorite NFTs that you own? Whether it be art, land, collectibles, anything.
Yeah, let me see. I think did I pull that up? I don't have it pulled up. Let me share my screen here. Oh, it said disable screen
Oh,
sharing.
you can do it now. Sorry.
Okay. I think OpenSea is much. Oh, you know what? It signed me out of my wallet because I had to
Ah,
reboot.
darn.
That's okay.
You could just
Actually,
pull up. You could go to OpenSea and just pull up your own
oh
account.
yeah, that's right. The first one that
Oh,
comes to
cool.
mind actually is, let's see. Let me just go to my account here. Um, where is it? I'm not finding it, but it's definitely it's this one, which I definitely had to get in on. I'm
Oh,
excited to
nice.
get my CryptoPunk. Like I've wanted one for a
Nice.
long time. I was too hesitant to pull the trigger, when it was like one, two, three, six ETH or whatever. So yeah, I finally, once this is delivered, we'll have a CryptoPunk. Very
Nice.
excited about that. I
That's
want a piece of
awesome.
like
Is there one
NFT
you're
history.
especially hoping for in the bunch?
I haven't actually dug too far into them.
Okay. That's probably good
But
because then you won't
yeah,
be disappointed with whichever you
yeah,
get.
yeah, I'll kind of just be surprised. So really stoked on that one. Um, Other ones that come to mind, oh yeah, is like I bought a bunch of NF trees, which I'm really excited
Yep.
about. Have you heard of that? Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Loopify. I think yeah, there's gonna be some big things planned for that one. Ended up getting like the lowest edition, like Starry Night, which is like the most rare background. That one's it's super cool what he's doing with that project. So
So cool.
yeah.
That's awesome that you have just like I feel like NFTs have become just like a life for people. You know what I mean? Like you get into
Oh
all these
yeah.
communities, you get to know people, you hear about all these things coming out, and you're just like absorbed into it. And it's
Oh
so
my
funny
gosh, yeah.
because even though the NFT community is so small, like so small compared to even crypto itself, like there's still so many little groups of people that are doing their own thing or like they're diehards for their own project or like
Oh yeah.
in the CryptoPunks Discord, there's always those core people that are like moderating all the new people coming into that Discord chat and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I see you joined 4 hours ago. Like, don't tell us your opinion," kind of thing. But it's cool because there's like
Yeah.
so many different groups of people, but there's so much interest that is starting to like cross over and intersect because all those people really a lot of them started with like crypto kitties and now they
Hmm.
went on even Jim started with crypto kitties and now just going on to all these different things and Prinksy too. Prinksy started with crypto kitties too. So it's so good
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when I heard about crypto kitties, like I didn't actually get into it, but like I definitely heard about how it clogged up the Ethereum
Oh yeah.
blockchain, the Ethereum network. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's crazy how far it's come, and it's such a vortex. It's like once you get into it, like you're in it. There's just so much, and now everyone's just coming out with like all kinds of crazy projects. And I think people are just like looking for fun new ways to push the boundaries and test the limits because like digital collectibles opens up this like whole new realm, right? There's just stuff that's like unimaginable that will be done like a year or two from now,
Oh yeah.
like async art, right? Was such a foreign concept like when it came out and when I first learned about it, like it's insane what you can do with something, and it's like at the core it's a simple principle, but like without blockchain, I don't even know if yeah, something like that can't even really exist.
Yeah. Where do you see when you're thinking of all these new things that are coming out and just developing? Can you is that hard for you to think about where you're going to be in a year from now and like what your art is going to morph into? Not the style of the art necessarily, but the creating vehicles for virtual worlds, creating like the things like async that are popping up. Can you like dream about some of those things that you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I think years within scope for sure. Like I'll definitely be creating, experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be, these like multimedia experiences that I've been experimenting for my like solo NFT projects, or these like immersive interactive worlds that are like blockchain based and stuff. that, you know, house maybe like multiple artists at once to create kind of like this like more encompassing experience. Like with the Next Dimension Studios, that's definitely going to be a big focus, you know, for the next, you know, foreseeable future, where we have these spaces and the spaces themselves are art, and we also like work with the artists to create the space as well, and produce these events and stuff. Like one of the most impactful experiences as like an artist visiting a museum for me was in Naoshima, Japan. And Naoshima is called the Art Island. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but you have to like take a ferry out, and it's just like at the top of this like mountain. And what they did is they built the museum subterranean, like into the earth, with
Oh,
portions of it
cool.
are kind of like exposed and stuff. Yeah, if anyone ever goes to Naoshima or Japan, definitely visit Naoshima if you get the chance. And yeah, it's known as like Art Island because the whole island is like
Cool.
dedicated to art installations. But it's like things like that where you are like immersed, like fully immersed and totally disconnected from society, and it just like completely takes you away. Like I think making experiences like that is probably where I'll be in the next, you know, year or so.
How do you spell that? Or can you say the name of it again?
Yeah, Naoshima. So
No.
Nao, let's see,
Well, it just
Naoshima.
it
Yeah.
reminded me because there's Cat Island too, which sounds just it's the same exact spelling but without the N. It's Aoshima, I think.
Ah,
So that's
Cat
why I
Island.
was
Oh,
like,
interesting.
so it's got Cat Island and Art Island, two of my favorite things. So I definitely need to check that out. They must be
Yeah, I wonder if there's a
relatively,
relationship.
yeah. I wonder what the word actually means. I don't know what it means, so
I'm
that'll
gonna
be
I'm
interesting.
gonna share this art museum screen. Yeah, just so you could see what it looks like. Like they literally
Wow.
and they worked with not just the architects, but like the artists who had installations there were also part of the design process, right? Like
Cool.
so, you know, they have like James Turrell, I think there's like a Monet there. Um, but like the architects, they worked on these spaces. It's just like insane. And this one too, it's like when you walk in there, it's almost like you step into a vacuum. It just like sucks all the sound like out of your ears. It's just
That's crazy.
otherworldly. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Wow.
yeah, creating spaces and experiences like that kind of like move me on that level and move others on that level, and also kind of like that we can bring together, you know, NFT artists, non-NFT artists, musicians, like all kind of like under one umbrella, you know.
I
I think
100%
that
see that happening.
that'll be really fun.
Yeah, I 100% see that happening, and especially with like what NFTs have done and how NFTs like even just the simple thought of doing some sort of like Burning Man type thing in the metaverse, which we know Jin has like talked about and done many ones of that.
Yeah,
But doing something like that and getting an NFT that represents it and kind of is just like a memory for you of that. You know, like
yeah,
even in like the real world, we think we look back on all of these different events that we've gone to, or like keep your ticket stubs or whatever it is, or look back on your pictures from all these different music festivals. Like it's the same
hmm,
concept of like having that token that symbolizes what that experience was for you. So I think that
yeah,
it's just so interesting and unique, especially the aspect that when you are in the virtual realm, you truly can be anyone you want to be.
hmm,
And there are different things that don't hold you back that may in life. And I think that is just what's so interesting to me, that someone who maybe in the real world can't walk, for example, because they don't have movement on the lower half of their body or maybe all
yeah,
over, can do something in VR. Like that's the
yeah. They
kind of
can
stuff
fly.
that,
Yeah,
yeah, I think is
yeah.
so cool. And like it it is so interesting, and I'm excited to see that to keep growing. And I think we've actually gotten more advancements and further towards people at least understanding about it because of the pandemic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and we've seen, you know, we've seen the issue with some social media of like authenticity, where like people feel like they have to behave a certain way, whereas I feel like with the advancement and, you know, proliferation of like pseudonymous identities, there's far more authenticity, right? Like if some anonymous founder wants to create a rug pull, they'll do it. If someone wants to spread peace and love, they'll do it. But it's like you'll see it all in the metaverse, and I think the metaverse will be slash multiverse will be this like great equalizer where dreams can come true. It's like for artists, the dream has always been to make art, just to
Mm,
like sit in your studio and make art. And now that's coming true, and for the person in a third world country, the dream has always been like to make a living and to like help sustain their family. And now they'll be able to partake in these like decentralized organizations as part of a DAO, and do whatever they want as long as they put in the time and effort.
yeah, no, absolutely. And it is, yeah, like you said, there it is just in so many ways life changing. And not only
Yeah.
just for creators, also for just participants that find a community here, and that find some sort of like identity with this space of like weirdos or people who are just like living on the internet in some cases. So
Yeah.
it is quite cool to think about. Um,
Yeah, it's funny living on the internet. It's funny because like, yeah, you hop in the Token Smart Discord during an event, and everyone's just like slinging gifts, and you'll always see like one or two people are like, "What is this? What did I step into?" They're like, "Welcome to the jungle."
that yeah, and that's how a lot of people feel with so many different experiences. I remember the first time we were taking, me, Jim, Trislet, and Rizzle were taking DeFi Dad. Do you know DeFi Dad on Twitter?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Around crypto voxels, and he was like, "What the hell is going on? My mind is absolutely blown. I'm having all my
His head's
Zoom
spinning.
meetings in here, like
Hell yeah.
all this stuff." And he was like, literally had all of his Zoom like meetings. He said, "Come join me in World," and would like bring people there. And there's
Oh
like that
yeah.
kind of like excitement is just like so pure and so cool to see, because this space is still so new. Like I
Yeah.
can't even imagine where we're gonna be in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be insane. I know we're at kind of like a high point and it could still be going up, but like when the next, round of like innovation slash like bear market comes through, it's like there's gonna be some crazy stuff happening in the metaverse.
Oh yeah.
People are gonna be building and it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, if you guys have questions, definitely feel free to ask them. I'm gonna start asking you some of the closing questions, but before I do, I want to ask you: do you have anything that you have coming up that you want to tell everyone about? I know you just did the NFT boxes, but anything else that's on your mind?
Hmm. I would just say, I don't have anything hard set in stone on releases. I do have like this super rare piece coming up, probably in the next week or two. I have an async art piece that I've been working on, and that one probably in the next like month or so.
So you do have
Um,
stuff coming up.
I do have stuff coming up. It's just there's no hard deadline
Yeah,
set yet.
that's fair.
Yeah, but I'll be spending a lot of time building in the metaverse. And so yeah, just if you want to stay on top of things, you can hit me up on Twitter or Discord or wherever. Yeah,
So Twitter and
yeah,
Discord are the best place to find you.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Trippyogi.
I
That'll be
also
me.
have Trippyogi's Twitter and website and Super Rare, all
Yeah,
linked in the description box.
sweet, sweet. Thank you.
Michael Broom asked, do you think you'll be making tutorials or hosting live creation workshops?
I have done this on Twitch before. I've done a bit of streaming, and it's been on my to-do list for sure to do more of it. And I had to. I've been in this transitionary phase where I've been moving, for the past like month or so, and kind of like getting my new space set up and things like that. So now actually, like the setup I have right now for this interview is like perfect. So, shoot, maybe I'll start doing more of those too.
That sounds awesome. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and did you move far or did you move close wherever you were before?
Um, Well, I was in San Diego, then I was spending quite a bit of time in SF. Now I'm back in San Diego, and I'll
Okay,
be
cool,
here for a little bit. Yeah.
cool. Let me know if you have another question, Michael. Um, Okay, sweet. So that's awesome. You guys make sure to follow Trippyogi on all this stuff that I have linked. Also, don't forget to like this YouTube video and also follow me on YouTube so you can get up to date with all my behind the art shows. Okay, sweet. So some of my closing questions, again, they're pretty weird, but they're kind of fun. What is your favorite item that you bought this year? So not NFT related, or unless that is your favorite, you could say that too.
This in the past year, definitely my laptop. Like
Okay, that's a good one.
I ended up getting it's like one of the Razer Studios, and honestly, like I love it. Like I do everything on it. I can do everything. I have like an external GPU I can hook up to it if I want to render stuff. Like yeah, this thing is it's a
A
beast of a
powerhouse.
machine.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Um, if you could instantly become an expert in something, what would it be?
Ooh. Expert in oh wow, that's a tough one. Let's see. Yoga, I guess. Yeah, maybe it's not that hard.
You don't think you're
Yeah.
an expert in it?
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, it's one of those things, even the experts, they're like you'll always be learning, right? And I think it's
Yeah.
always like getting away from like being in between yourself and the action. Yeah.
Cool. What? Yeah, and I'm not good at yoga. I've tried it like twice. I'm terrible, so I could probably use some practice. Um, what would be the most surprising scientific discovery imaginable?
The most what type of discovery?
Surprising scientific,
Surprising.
surprising scientific discovery.
Hmm. See, I don't know if this would be surprising or it'd be like, oh, that makes sense. But the whole like, holographic existence kind of theory, that this is all a hologram and we're
Yeah.
all, just like part of a big AI. I mean, I think it all kind of ties into, varying theories of consciousness and stuff
What
like
is that
that.
called
And
again?
uh,
There's
yeah,
an.
something about the like holographic matrix theory or something like that.
Oh, okay. Or
But
is
yeah,
it
I've written.
simulation theory or is it different from
Oh,
that?
yeah, it might be simulation theory.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
what it is.
It's
No.
it, but it's interesting because with like blockchain technology and like crypto, and I've had discussions with like one of our investors and like other people I've kind of like written about it too, is like the concept of like crypto consciousness or like this consciousness that we're seeing emerge as a result of like the technological advancements, right? So like the metaverse as a whole is going to have its own sense of consciousness where like us as participants, we're acting as like individual actors, but our actions combined collectively are erecting this like massive other world and
Hmm.
existence. And it'll be interesting to see like with the evolution of AI and all of those things, if that whole entity as a whole starts to kind of like observe itself and what happens with all of that, like and maybe we'll realize, hey, this is all just it's a hologram. We've just done it before.
That is so interesting to think about, and I feel like I love seeing art that's inspired by these kind of thoughts. And who is the artist I'm thinking of? Um, can't remember his name. I'll find it for the next stream. But he has this YouTube that like he creates these like 30-minute long like educational but like visually stunning like crazy
Oh,
stunning. I'm gonna tweet it out tomorrow
I
when I
want to
can
check these
find
out.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let me know.
experiences and episodes that are like there's audio but there's no like voice. It's like you read it all and talks
Hmm.
about like the creation of like the universe and of the earth and then when earth is going to die off like and it talks about all this stuff and he does the art for everything and it is so crazy. So I'm
Oh,
just like
yeah. I'll
it's
have to check
cool
that
what
out.
people yeah it's cool what people like when they're thinking about these things and like also know the science behind it and like
Hmm.
combine that and they're also creative. Like I'm like you are a madman, but it's so
Yeah,
cool
I
to
love that
see.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it and tweet it out because
Heck
it's
yeah.
so cool. Um, okay, and last question, which kind of is a little bit related to the one before. Would you want to live forever?
Ooh, I've had these discussions before. I don't think so, right? Because okay, here's the NFT response is scarcity creates value, right?
Yeah.
So if there's no scarcity to like the time in our life, then how valuable would it be if we could just wander aimlessly forever, you know? So we have like this very limited time here on Earth, at least right now we do. And so how special can we make that, right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And I've heard people that totally agree with that. I guess the second part of that question, if you could extend your life, like, would you? So maybe not forever, but an extension. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd go for like 200 or 300 maybe. I
Okay.
don't know if I want to go past that, right? It,
Okay.
it, it depends though, right? Can all my friends do the same thing or
I
uh,
always say you keep your health. That's all I
keep
say.
your health?
So
Okay,
I don't know if you keep your friends. I don't think
got
so.
it.
But you keep your health.
Yeah. So yeah, probably not too much more than that,
Okay,
but
that's
who knows?
fair. Too much
Yeah,
sadness if you go beyond there. If you can't keep your
yeah,
friends.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was so cool. I'm so glad that
That was
I got
fun.
to know you a little bit more and like what I guess your how you found art, why you create, what your passions are, and I really think that your art is such an extension of you. Now that especially like I've
Thank
always
you.
thought that when looking at your work, but now getting to know you and talking to you, 100%, it is such an extension of you, which I think is really special. And people
Yeah,
truly are when they collect your work or even like experience your work, are experiencing like something from you personally. So I just really appreciate that.
yeah. Thank you. And it's amazing too. Like with all of this, it's when you connect with a collector who really appreciates and feels deeply, you know, the sentiments of those pieces. It's like it's a special bond. So yeah, it's awesome seeing like a lot of my collectors. They are holding, you know, they're just holding on to those pieces. So I know they're like in the right places.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool like now being able to create from my core full time and bring more of these like dreams to realization.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree. I can't wait to see more of your virtual experience stuff because I do feel like you've
Yeah,
tapped into like a special place where you have so many talents in so many different areas, and to combine them to create experiences for other people, I think is just so epic. So I
yeah,
cannot wait to see more of what you're doing, and I'm just super excited to follow your journey in the space. And of course, I mean, a huge thank you to you for coming on and
oh,
telling us
Steph, yeah,
everything, and a huge thank you to everyone that is watching this now and in the chat, and everyone that is going to watch this when they wake up and it's in their time zone. So we appreciate all you guys.
yeah. And huge thank you to you too, Josie. Thanks for having me on and all the artists you bring on, right? Like it's amazing. It's amazing what everyone's doing for this space. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I love it. And we have, like I said on the last, I don't even know how many streams, I have shows booked on every Thursday night until I can see on my calendar. So we have a
Sweet.
lot coming up. Stay tuned. And yeah, thank you guys so much. And we'll sign off for now. Bye, guys. Okay, 1 second.